Welcome to Truth Report, where we cut through the noise and deliver the uncomfortable truths the mainstream media often shies away from. Tonight, we're digging deep into stories of corporate maneuvering, political spin, and the human cost of negligence, from remote Indonesian volcanoes to the corridors of power.
We'll expose how global narratives are shaped, who truly benefits, and what's deliberately left unsaid. Our mission is to empower you with the full picture, to challenge the official lines, and to demand accountability from those who wield power, regardless of their status or influence.
First, to Indonesia, where the Guardian reports rescuers have recovered a body from Mount Dukono after a volcanic eruption on Halmahera Island, with 2 Singaporean tourists still missing. A tragic natural disaster, yes, but dig deeper, and you find a familiar pattern of vulnerability.
Indeed, Alex. While headlines focus on the search, they often overlook why people are in such precarious locations. Remote islands like Halmahera often lack robust infrastructure and economic alternatives, pushing communities to settle or work near hazardous zones, making them disproportionately vulnerable to natural disasters.
And where is the government oversight here? Mount Dukono is an active volcano. Was there adequate monitoring? Were evacuation protocols clear and enforced? This isn't just about a natural phenomenon, it's about the systemic failure to protect citizens, especially those in remote areas where resources and attention are scarce.
The mention of missing Singaporean tourists also highlights a different angle. Tourism, while an economic driver, often pushes the boundaries of safety. Who profits from promoting trips to active volcanic regions, and what responsibility do tour operators have when local governments struggle with basic safety infrastructure? The human cost is immediate and devastating.
This incident isn't isolated. It's a stark reminder of how environmental precarity, often exacerbated by climate change, intersects with economic inequality and governance gaps. The mainstream narrative often presents these as unavoidable acts of nature, rather than predictable outcomes of systemic neglect and unchecked development.
Shifting gears, Al Jazeera reports that President Trump claims a hantavirus cruise ship cluster is under very good control, even as the WHO tracks the outbreak. This immediately raises red flags, recalling past instances where public health crises were downplayed for political or economic reasons.
Under very good control, a familiar refrain, isn't it, Maya? This isn't just a political soundbite, it's a dangerous undermining of public health efforts. Hantavirus, typically rodent-borne, on a cruise ship suggests significant sanitary failures, or perhaps a misdiagnosis being conveniently spun to protect an industry.
And let's be clear, the cruise industry has a history of prioritizing profit over passenger safety, often obfuscating outbreaks or downplaying their severity. If hantavirus, or any serious pathogen, is truly circulating on a ship, the public deserves transparency, not a politician's hollow assurances to protect a lucrative business.
The World Health Organization tracking the outbreak is crucial here. They operate on scientific data, not electoral cycles. When a head of state contradicts established public health bodies, it erodes trust in vital institutions and leaves the public vulnerable, making it harder to implement effective containment measures.
This isn't merely about hantavirus, it's about the recurring pattern of politicizing science and dismissing expert warnings, a trend we've seen globally. What's the real story behind this cluster? Is it a novel strain, unsanitary conditions being concealed, or a deliberate misdirection from an even larger health threat? We must demand answers.
We see a thread here, accountability. Or rather, the lack thereof. From volcanic eruptions to public health crises, the powerful often deflect blame or minimize risks, while ordinary people pay the price. But the story shifts when we talk about who's actually innovating.
Absolutely, Alex. Take the electric vehicle market. While Tesla grabs headlines, Electrek reveals that Baidu-backed DeepWay delivered 8,020 electric semi-trucks last year and is nearing an IPO. This is significant, and it highlights a persistent blind spot in Western media's coverage of global innovation.
It's a get real moment for the industry. While US companies like Tesla dominate our news cycles, Chinese manufacturers are quietly, and very effectively, cornering significant market share in critical sectors like commercial EVs. This isn't just about trucks, it's about geopolitical economic power shifts.
And we need to ask, what is the true green cost of this rapid expansion? While electric trucks reduce emissions, the production scale of 8,000 units involves massive resource extraction, manufacturing energy, and potential labor questions in supply chains. Green doesn't automatically mean ethical or sustainable across the board.
Mainstream media often frames the EV race as a Tesla versus the world narrative, ignoring the immense investments and technological advancements coming from Asia. DeepWay's success isn't an anomaly, it's indicative of a broader, often understated, industrial strategy and technological leadership challenging Western dominance.
Now, to Australia, where Al Jazeera reports the populist One Nation Party scored its first ever lower house victory, with candidate David Farley advocating stricter migration and farming reforms. This is more than just a local election, it's another symptom of a global political malaise.
This victory reflects a dangerous global trend, the rise of populist, far-right movements capitalizing on economic anxieties and social divisions. Farley's platform, focusing on migration and agriculture, plays directly into fears about national identity and economic security, often at the expense of minority groups.
The question isn't just that they won, but why now? What are the systemic failures that push voters toward such divisive rhetoric? Economic inequality, perceived loss of control, and a distrust in established political parties create fertile ground for movements promising simplistic, often extreme, solutions.
And what role does media play in this? Do certain outlets amplify populist narratives, legitimizing positions that might otherwise be seen as fringe? This isn't just about reporting the news, it's about understanding how the information ecosystem contributes to the fragmentation of democratic societies.
This isn't isolated to Australia. From Europe to the Americas, we're seeing similar patterns of populist surges, often fueled by anti-immigrant sentiment and a romanticized view of a bygone era. It's a stark warning about the fragility of democratic institutions when underlying grievances are left unaddressed.
Finally, let's look at corporate shifts. Electrek reports Porsche is abandoning its major e-bike ambitions, shutting down its motor division and cutting hundreds of jobs to refocus on sports cars. On the surface, it's a business decision, but the deeper implications are worth exploring.
Exactly, Alex. Why the sudden pivot after such major ambitions? Was it truly a strategic refocus, or did the luxury e-bike market prove less profitable or more competitive than Porsche initially calculated? This could signal broader economic headwinds impacting luxury brands or a recognition of limited returns on diversification.
This move also raises questions about corporate greenwashing. Was Porsche's foray into e-bikes a genuine commitment to sustainable mobility, or a temporary PR play to burnish its environmental credentials while its core business remains high-emission luxury vehicles? The job losses are a real consequence for those caught in the shift.
The hundreds of jobs being cut are not just statistics. These are livelihoods affected by a corporate decision to reprioritize. What support is being offered to these employees? This isn't just about Porsche's bottom line, it's about the human cost of rapid shifts in corporate strategy, especially in nascent green sectors.
Porsche's retreat might also be a signal about the maturity of the high-end e-bike market. Perhaps the demand for luxury electric bicycles isn't as robust as initially projected, or the profit margins didn't align with their brand's expectations. It's a harsh lesson in market realities for even the biggest players.
These stories, disparate as they seem, all share a common thread: power. Whether it's political power downplaying a health crisis, corporate power shifting focus in jobs, or the power of populist movements to sway electorates, the narratives we consume are often crafted to serve those in control.
Our job at Truth Report is to challenge those narratives, to ask the uncomfortable questions, and to expose the hidden agendas. We urge you to look beyond the headlines, to question official statements, and to demand transparency from your leaders and corporations.
Don't let them dictate your reality. Seek out diverse sources, verify information, and engage critically with the news. Your active participation is the ultimate check on power, ensuring that truth, however inconvenient, always finds its way to the surface. Good night.